Secondary break, reviewing all things North Carolina basketball, even when it's tough. My name's Graham Bunn, former Division I point guard, former European pro. Got my brother and better half of the partnership, my two guard, Mr. Zach Talitsky, UNC alum, and generally more rational than I am. I'm looking forward to this show for only one reason. I want to see who is more rational of the two of us. I am not in a good place. Carolina falls 80-76 at home. Third in the country, has done a lot of work. Now we've bookended the Duke win with two losses to teams. I believe Clemson was 11th in the conference going into this game. And again, I'm on the record as saying Clemson's way better than their record. But at home, I just don't have much. I don't have any excuses for what went on. But we're going to recap the game. I had a whole rundown of like, hey, keys to the game. We're going to go back to the original format of just having a very generic, authentic conversation about what went down in the Dean Tome tonight with our UNC Tar Heels. You and I almost went to the game, and I'm very glad that we did not. But again, we fall now to we're 18-5, 10-2 in the conference. We still have first place, but our schedule is not going to do us any favors going down the stretch. And it's a conversation for a different time as far as where we're going to end up when the dust clears. Clemson gets a much-needed road win, which is great for the conference, not great for us. They're now 5-6 in the conference, 15-7, and win a dogfight in the Dean Dome. And in all honesty, deserve to win that game. There's some things with the referees. I know you and I don't like to do the ref talk. I will point it out. It didn't cost us the win, but it was annoying as a fan to watch some of the things go down. I think there was 3 questionable calls in 9 seconds at one point in time in the game. That does affect the way you defend. But at the end of the day, Clemson came in, punched us in the mouth, and I honestly think shed some glaringly bright lights on some deficiencies that if we don't get it under grips quickly, the season's going to be over a lot quicker than we all thought. What do you think?
I think first you have to give credit to Clemson. I think they came in ready to play. I think, like you said, they punched us in the mouth. There's really no other way to describe it. And not only that, they answered every charge. We made multiple runs, obviously got it even, tied it with 4 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to give a team credit for that. I think it's easy as a fan to focus on what we didn't do, and we will talk about that because there's plenty that we could have done better. But I also think first it's important to recognize that the other guys are well coached. They have pride. They're fighting for things too. They're I don't think they were on the bubble, but certainly slipping, in that direction. And so this is a huge win for their resume.
I'm on the other side. I don't even think they were on the bubble. I think they were out.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so regardless, they're hungry and they know they need this road win to secure a spot. And so they come in motivated. You had PJ Hall and Joe Girard, who are both veterans, very good players, I'm sure with a ton of pride, who did not play well in Clemson when we beat them earlier in the year. Yeah. And they answered the bell. Both those guys stepped up and played great. And so you have to give credit for that. And Shefflin's played great in both games and continues to make winning plays, not only against us, but throughout the season. So all the credit to him as well. Mm-hmm. So, I think first and foremost, you have to recognize that, another team also can impact the outcome, and it's not always about your deficiencies. All that being said, we had the game in front of us to win, and we can talk about why we didn't.
All right, where do you want to start? That was very well said, and I think the first question of this podcast or this show has already been answered. You're going to be the more rational one. Perfect. I'm glad we got that out of the way. We're going to get that out of the way. I've been on this politically correct train because I love the team. I love our players. They are kids, and, I've said it multiple times. I did really want to play at Carolina when I was a player, and I submitted my, student registration. I got into Carolina. There was some communication with the program And honestly, the feedback was he's not good enough to be a scholarship player, but there is an invited walk-on spot. So to air myself out, I don't want to be a Skip Bayless here and misrepresent the player that I was. So for me to criticize some of our players, I will say that I was not good enough as a player to play at Carolina. That being said, being someone who is very proud of what I did with what I was given, and I think I milked every ounce of potential out of my body in the player that I became. I can't make excuses for Cormac Ryan anymore. I'm a fan. I wish he would shoot better, but we're not going to win anything with this kid playing the way that he's playing on the offensive end. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, you're jumping off the band." I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. It's been all year long. Again, I'm gonna pull up the line. You can hear the frustration in my voice. It's just
you're not going to like the line. When you pull it up, you're not going to feel any better.
All right. So 30 minutes, 1 for 10 from the field, and 0 of 6 from 3. Admittedly, I don't have those shots charted. I used to chart his shots, and I stopped because I felt like I was being too harsh on one. He is 25 years old, so I don't think he's a kid anymore. But, criticizing someone the way that I have, the way that he shot, is it's a tricky line. I'm a fan. I want him to do well, but I'm very frustrated. I don't understand what the disconnect is. And with giving you the same disclaimer that I gave you, that he's a better player, that I'd go out there right now, and shoot better than 0 of 6 from 3, no matter what it was, off the pin down, off a dribble screen. I don't know all the looks that he got, but I just don't understand why he can't shoot better. I don't understand.
Yeah, there's no hiding from the fact that he wasn't good tonight, at least on the offensive end. I really have no idea. It's sort of hard to tell sometimes on the defensive end what somebody's doing. But those all, I didn't chart the shots either, but I know that they were all wide open. I mean, these weren't like end of the shot clock desperation heaves where sometimes your line is deceiving. I mean, these were open looks, either coming off of a set play where he was wide open, or I think at least 5 of those were like catch and shoot wide open. Obviously, if he makes half of those, 3 of 6, it's a different outcome. He also missed, I think, a chippy layup in the first half. So it's not really even being critical. It's just a statement of fact that he did not play well on the offensive end, and it did not help us tonight. Yeah, but we've talked about this before. In the games that we're losing, same against Georgia Tech, I don't think he shot particularly well in that game either. That's a big
3 of 14. He's 3 of 14.
Yeah. So that that's a huge X factor for us, and we need him to play better if we're going to do anything. I think that's just stating the obvious. I don't really understand in a game like this why he got 30 minutes and Withers got 5. I would like to see, if he's not playing well on the offensive end, not shooting well, for Withers to get more run, to see if he can't bring a different energy, drive the ball more, and just make a difference, in a different way. Hubert sees them every day, all day in practice. And so, maybe that's where the minutes need to go. But I would have loved to see us change it up a little bit, just given how he was playing, and see what Withers could have done in a game like this.
Yeah, well, that's the disconnect, because I would love to be at practice. I know that we're not going to be granted that access, but he's getting 30 minutes and he's getting 6 or 8 threes a game. Is he knocking them down in practice? Like, what's the disconnect? Kid can't shoot under the lights. I mean, this is like game 120 for him. I don't understand. He's been a 40% at one point in time in his career, at a very Power 5 high major program from 3. And he was the lead dog for Notre Dame last year. So as the 4th option on a Carolina team, the lights are that much brighter in Chapel Hill. I don't get it. And again, I say this, and I'm gonna put my Stephen A cap on. I envy that guy, because he criticizes and critiques, and he didn't play in the league either, but he's right with some of the things he says. I don't think I know I'm going to get some messages from people that watch this. Which one, by the way? Thank you for anyone that is watching this. Highly, highly appreciate anybody that supports it, because we do love the program and we want the program to do well. I think anyone watching this can read my passion. I don't know if you heard Jay Will name drop me tonight and give me a not a beating, but like he also was like, we can't entertain success. Like we can't handle success. Good things happen to us and we just lay down. Like I knew we were in trouble, or I felt like we were in trouble when they did the montage of us walking out to the boombox. And maybe they've been doing that all year long. But the optics on it of like, anoint us, we're here, we're gonna show up and like party. This is gonna be a party. And then it's 17-2 before you can blink an eye. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's frustrating, and I'm probably not doing a very good job of being unbiased at it, but I am really frustrated. Like, Clemson is better than their record, but this is a game we should have won. And if we lose this game, then we shouldn't have lost the Georgia Tech game, because you can't learn the same lesson twice and be a good team and succeed in March. Because guess what? There's going to become a time where you can't learn the same lesson twice. Season's going to be over.
That's right. And I mean, it's clearly frustrating as a fan. The positive spin on it to me is that we kept coming, and I don't think we panicked. I don't think we changed our character and played outside of ourselves. I think we I don't know how many times, 3 or 4 different times, where we would get close. They would jump back out to 7 or 9. We kept coming. We kept coming. And we got it tied, right? We got it tied with 4 minutes left. One of the big frustrating points for me was then what happened, in the 4-minute mark. You're talking about having success in March, where you're going to be in close games. And so you have to value every possession and you have to execute down the stretch. And so, at the risk of being tedious, the 4-minute mark, we had back-to-back turnovers. The first one was Baycott dropped a pass between his legs that would have been a layup. It's a little low. So, and then, the next one was a terrible offensive foul on Cadeau. Terrible meaning it was a foul, not a bad call.
Yeah, he extended. For sure. Chicken wing.
Yeah. And then the next one, RJ got a wide open 3 and missed. Then we had another turnover where Washington threw it, I don't know to whom, somewhere deep into the backcourt.
Yeah. Well, you can't give the ball to Washington there. Like, and I think Ingram threw it to him. And again, Ingram didn't know he was there. When you're playing 2 bigs, you just got to know you can't give them to him in spot. Like, Washington, I don't know what we're going to get with him. I really don't. It looks like I'm not going to, I don't want to be too negative. I don't know what we're going to get. I don't know if Washington's going to be a big contributor for longer than small spurts this season. But him being in crunch time there, and also not being able to play the 5 where he's just around the rim, that's going to be tricky for us, I feel.
Yeah, I wish Washington and Withers were getting more minutes like they did earlier in the year. I think both of them can contribute. And again, I don't see what's happening in practice, so it's hard to know whether or not they're earning those minutes. But I thought we were, a better team when they were getting more minutes. So I'd like to see it. But anyway, and there's several other plays down the stretch of that 4-minute thing. We then give up an offensive rebound to Shefflin. RJ misses a layup. It was really a comedy of errors, from the 4-minute mark on. And, that was really disappointing to me, to fight all the way back like that, get it tied and then just, let it slip away, through poor execution. So I don't know. It's just one of those nights where, from the get-go, we were chasing the game. And although we kept fighting, they just made more plays than we did. And, on one hand, you give them a lot of credit for that. They made big shots. It seemed like they were getting critical offensive rebounds. And although we kept fighting, like, we just couldn't make the same number of winning plays.
Yeah. I mean, we're Carolina fans. We're reviewing Carolina. So I do give kudos to Clemson. I'm on the record. I actually told someone I think Clemson covers tonight. Like, the line was 6.5. I was like, man, if I was a betting man, I'm taking that all day. Clemson loses a tough one at home to UVA, in which, by the way, UVA is probably going to win the ACC. Like, if you look at the schedules, we'll do a whole show on, okay, the remaining schedule, where does everyone fall right now? I think we have a 1-game lead. We still have to go to UVA. And if you watch what they did the other night to Miami, I think Miami scored 38 points. Brutal. Like, I definitely don't have a lot of faith right now. And look, bad games happen. RJ Davis, one of my favorite Carolina players to ever put on a Carolina uniform. The last 2 games have not looked great for him. Now, I don't know if it's because he's been anointed the ACC Player of the Year. And, again, it's hard for us to entertain success. 7 of 22, 3 of 5 from the line. One of those was a missed front end of a 1-and-1. So if you go by your rule, 3 of 6, 50% from the free throw line. I honestly, this is college basketball, and it's not the pros. The pros, you win bigs and wings. College basketball, you win with your backcourt. Cormac Ryan goes 1 of 10. Wish I could say I'm shocked. Not shocked at all. RJ Davis, I'm shocked. 7 of 22. Yeah, just we can't survive if RJ's not Superman right now, and it's really hard because you can't expect the kid to be Superman every night.
Well, I think one of the positives is Bacot backed up the Duke game with another good game. He came out aggressive. We looked to get him the ball, and we need at least a 2-headed monster. And then the question is, what do we get from everybody else? I think Ingram had a solid game, not nearly as spectacular as the Duke game, but then really nobody else, stepped up. Cormac, we've talked about. Cadeau probably had his worst game, maybe yet.
Jay Williams texted me at halftime. I don't know the equation of plus minus. Elliot Cadeau was a minus 16 at halftime.
Yeah, but when you start off and you're down by 20 or whatever we were, and then he got in foul trouble and sat the rest of the time, it's like, well, everybody was. So I don't know, how much to make of his plus minus other than
he was a minus 5 for the game.
Yeah.
Who was a positive? The only positive of anyone that played more than Washington played 14 minutes. Anyone playing, well, I take that back. Anyone playing more than 5 minutes. Do you know who the only positive was? RJ Davis is the only positive. Everybody else, -6 for Harrison Ingram, -4 for Cormac Ryan. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Elliot Cadeau, -5. Armando Bacot, -7. Paxton, which big shout out to Paxton. We don't talk about you enough. You sat on the bench. You've waited for your opportunity. You got in and you mixed it up. I was proud of you tonight. Big fan, -4. Jalen Washington, -5. All negative plus minus.
Yeah. So we're not going to win many games with RJ being relatively inefficient and just he and Bacot carrying us. And so we need at least one, if not two, of these other guys to play well. And so we have a consistent theme across our losses. Same thing against Georgia Tech, where Ingram and Cormac didn't shoot well. So it's pretty clear, right? Like what makes this team good and then where we struggle. And by the way, unless you're a UConn fan, I think every fan base in college basketball right now feels a little bit like we do. I mean, you go through the list, even in the top flight programs, I think everybody is questioning their team. If you're a Purdue fan, you can't be all that confident because when March rolls around the last couple of years, they lost to a 15 seed and a 16 seed. So I know they're not confident.
Right.
Kansas lost again, last night. Granted, is on the road, but still. How confident can they be? Kentucky lost 2 games at home. Tennessee lost last week. Houston lost last week. So, as much as we feel it and you worry about what this means for March, it's just there's carnage, and every week, someone's getting knocked off. And it just goes to show, you have to play well and you have to bring your A game. And, I'd say the good news is even when we don't play very well, sorry.
No, that's all right. Big shout out to Ozzy. Yep. Breaking it up a little bit.
Even when we don't play well, we've got a chance to win these games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I take some encouragement from that, but just the consistency, particularly, from our third, fourth, and fifth best players, is not at the level that it's going to have to be at for us to win 6 games in a row in March.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm off that train right now. But maybe it'll come back around. Maybe it'll come back around.
Well, we were talking about this earlier today, just like how confident we were in the team. This was obviously before the game. And, what I said was, look, I think if this team made a Final Four, I would be thrilled. Like, there's a lot of years where, as a Carolina fan, I'm like, it's national championship or bust, because I feel like we have the best team in the country.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about this team. I mean, could they win a national championship? Yeah, I suppose so. But I feel like this is, if we don't make the second weekend, that of course would be a disappointment. But I feel like, a Final Four run from this team would be awesome. But I think just trying to manage my expectations a little bit about what I think this team's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, again, we could do a whole show on what's going to come, because we still got to go to Miami on Saturday. I feel good about winning that game. I really do. We got to go to Syracuse. I feel like we'll win that game. Virginia Tech at home, I feel like we'll win that game. Virginia at Virginia, I got no confidence that we're going to win that game. Miami at home, I feel like we win it. NC State at home, I'm on the fence on that. Notre Dame, I feel like we'll win. At Duke, I have no confidence in that game because it's a rivalry game. So I feel like we're going to end up a game out of first place if UVA, if you look at their schedule, what they're going to do. And I feel like we fall off the one line. Now we're down to 2-3. And who knows what can happen. Anything can happen in March or the ACC tournament. But I don't know. I just this game was incredibly disappointing. There's one thing to not play well, and there's one thing, but it's like reoccurring things that just haven't changed. I'm going to get a ton of messages about, man, you got to stop being a Cormac Ryan hater. 1 of 10. I just do not get it. I just don't understand.
You're not going to get any messages after this game. There's not anyone who's going to message you after this game.
What's he doing? I don't understand it. What's he doing? Like, what's the problem? What's the disconnect? Why isn't it firing when you flip the switch? Why aren't the lights coming on? I don't understand it. He's got a nice jump shot. He's a good shooter, but he's just not shooting it good. And like, we're on the back nine. Like,
I've never been a good shooter, so I can't tell you what it would feel like to be a good shooter and then to go through a prolonged slump. I'm sure he's as frustrated as anyone, though.
Listen, I was not a great player. I was a great shooter. And you do whatever research you want to do. You ask around. And I don't understand it. It's a mental thing now. I think we've gotten so far down the road. And honestly, to his credit, maybe I'm in his ear. I mean, I know he mentioned me, and I don't know if you heard it, but he dropped me by name tonight on the broadcast, Mr. Jay Williams. He was on him too. He's like, man, look, Carolina's 33, 34%, but their shooter, the kid that comes in that you're expecting to spread the floor and allow Baycott to eat, I mean, he's dropping well beneath 30% now. He's probably shooting 28% from three. And these are kick out, feet set, shoulders forward. Like, I'm shooting off the rack threes. So in a real game, and I know certain people won't understand this, and it's fine. You don't get those kind of looks at a power five. You are highly contested, coming off screen, someone in your airspace shooting threes and expected to make 35%. Naked kick out threes because you have an All-American on the block. 28% ain't cutting it. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to put Withers into the starting lineup and see if that correct some of these shooting woes. Because if it goes unchecked, to like, oh, you can just miss as many as you want. I don't know if it ever changes. At least Withers will play some defense, get out and finish on the break. I don't know.
Yeah, I had the same thought during the game, whether it's Withers or Trimble. Maybe it depends on who we're playing and what the matchup is.
I'd love to see Trimble in the starting lineup now.
I mean,
and I think Cormac Ryan's a tough kid. Maybe it'll jar him. Oh, okay, you don't believe in me? I'm gonna prove you wrong. But something's got to change.
No, I agree. I feel like that. Well, I mean, there's really nothing else to say. I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing is it's not coaching. Like those are open looks. Like you take those looks all day, every day. And so, like to me, that's not the issue.
At home
Right,
in a gym that
right.
you live in. I don't know. What's your biggest concern for the team moving forward for their overall success? And where are you at on us winning the ACC regular season? Because I know you and I had discussed this. I gave you the opportunity to tell me what you would prefer, an ACC regular season championship or an ACC tournament championship. I don't think we're going to win. Well, I'm 50-50 on us winning the ACC regular season right now. But I do think we have a very good chance of winning the ACC tournament.
Yeah, I think I'm on record saying I prefer the ACC regular season.
You are?
We've all 5 of our national championships. We won the regular season. We only won the tournament once in '82.
Yeah.
So just based on history, as a fan, that trains you to say that the regular season is more important than the tournament. Yeah, I think 50-50. I mean, we still have a game lead. Obviously, the away game at Virginia is going to be pivotal. And
Away
I
game at
think
Duke. We got to
yeah,
go to Virginia and to Duke.
Yeah, I think there's a very good chance we'll end up tying for it or something like that, and then it'll come down to the tiebreaker. But I think if you tie, they don't really do a tiebreaker. I think they just make you co-champion because you don't have a balanced schedule where everybody plays everybody twice, so you can't really do the tiebreaker. I mean, my biggest concern, it has to be the lack of consistency from our supporting cast.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very consistent. It's just not good. It's very consistent.
Well, some games Trimble gives us 10. Some games Cadeau gives us 10. Some games Cormac plays okay.
When was the last time you saw Elliot Cadeau hit a jump shot?
I mean, I watched some recruiting videos last night. He was making some of those.
Man, he had a nice jump shot in the recruiting videos.
He did. Yeah. No, I mean that's what I mean. There's certainly concerns around those surrounding pieces, and that's gonna be the difference. When we're clicking, at least one, if not 2 or 3 of those guys have good games, and we look great when that happens because for the most part, RJ and Mondo are going to give you what they give you. And then we got to do it 6 times in a row. So that's the concern, right? Like I could see them giving it to us 2 or 3 games in a row, but especially as you get later in the tournament, they just don't have much margin for error. Will those guys shine, in those later tournament games? And based on the last couple of weeks, it's hard to have a ton of confidence that they'll do it 6 times in a row.
Yeah. I mean, I am admittedly just in a negative space after watching that game. But I will say and course correct myself of the silver lining is I do believe that with some minor tweaking and maybe it takes a summer, a player like Elliot Cadeau could be one of the best players in the nation. Like I think that he has the talent level and the ability to affect games that not many players in the country have. Like he's super special. I do believe that we have to figure out something with the jump shot. And once that gets figured out, which I think it will get figured out, I think the sky's the limit for him. I don't know if there's enough time to figure it out with Cormac Ryan. I don't. It's been 6 years, so I don't know if that changes. I don't know what's going on. I've been heavy on needing 35 to 38% for us to make a title run. I still firmly believe that for him to shoot that way, it's very small percentages that he turns it around and gets it there. But there are tweaks that can happen, and the team, I think, would greatly benefit from it. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. Defensively, I don't know how poorly or how strongly we played tonight. I was fixated on some of the looks that didn't go down early, and we're down 17-2, and knowing that we need to score the ball at a very efficient pace to get back into the game, which we did. And then, seeing how hard RJ has to work just to get the ball up on the rim, just, I don't know. I'm worried and concerned because we've been through a lot the last few years, and this was a team that I felt like is their own worst enemy when we lose games. I feel like we have not, and I still don't think that Clemson's a better team than us. The only team that I think we've played all year long that at the moment in time I felt was better was UConn. But tonight was just brutal to watch. It was even worse than the Georgia Tech game for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever as bad as it seems after you lose.
Yeah.
And I think this team has shown the ability to deal with adversity, from game to game and within games.
Yeah.
I hope that they continue to show that character, and I hope we come out strong Saturday against Miami.
What adjustment would you make? Because I felt like they did a great job playing through Armando. I feel like we got to get RJ going a little bit. But if you had to make one adjustment, what comes to mind first?
I think against Miami, if Trimble's available, I don't know the extent of his injury and why he didn't play tonight. But assuming he's fully healthy, I would like to see us start Trimble and play a 3-guard lineup. One, because Miami tends to play pretty small and they're very perimeter oriented, and so I think one, it could work. And just two, and just see if that gives us a bit of a spark.
Okay. Would you sit Cormac?
Yeah, okay. I think I would.
Okay. I mean that, and again, that's a big choice. I'm all on board with that, and maybe I feel differently tomorrow. But as it sits right now at 1-10 for some of the looks and 0 for 6 from 3, losing at home, I'm all for switching something up. But that is a big decision, when you go away from a kid who's a 5th-year senior or a 6-year senior and does a lot of things that I probably have no idea his contribution, because I'm not in the locker room. I'm not privy to practice. I'm sure he's an incredible leader because he's gotten such a long leash for poor shooting percentages. I totally 1,000% know that Hubert Davis is like, okay, this kid provides things that don't show up in the stat sheet on and off the floor. But I'm not privy to that. When you and I do these shows and recaps and we kind of discuss what our concerns are, we don't get to see that. So it's hard for me to know how to weigh that. So I'm all for giving Trimble a few extra minutes, even than starting Nod, to see if it shakes loose something with Cormac Ryan of saying, hey, look, man, we need you to be better. We got to hold you accountable. So you're going to have to come off the bench this game, and we'll see what we get from you.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, I want to put you on the spot real quick because I'm just curious at where you sit at this. And I would imagine anyone that's watching this, one, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Two, I apologize for being so emotional about the game, but I just ruined my damn day. Just ruined my day. I'm so pumped for the game. And then big shout out, Mr. Shawan Robinson, who, former Clemson player. My phone was buzzing for him. Jay Williams also phone was buzzing to let me know, make sure that I was watching the game and I was privy to what was going down in the Dean Dome tonight. Yes, guys, I watched it. I know we were losing. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to give you the game. I want you to give me win or loss. And I know it changes in real time, but I want you to, and I'm going to tally it up. All right. So we are sitting at 10-2 in the league right now. We play at Miami, 1:00 Saturday.
Win.
All right. We go to Syracuse Tuesday, 4 p.m. West Coast tip-off. So Tuesday night at Syracuse.
Win.
Virginia Tech at home, Saturday game, 2 p.m. tip-off, Eastern Standard Time.
Win.
Virginia at Virginia, 1:00 tip, Saturday.
Win.
Let's see what you're doing. Miami at home, 4:00 Monday night game, 7 p.m. tip.
Win.
NC State at home, 1:00 tip-off, 4:00 tip-off Eastern Standard Time.
Win.
Notre Dame at home, 7 p.m. night game, Tuesday night.
When?
At Duke, Saturday. It's going to be a 6:30 tip to close it out. Senior night for Duke.
Loss.
All right, so you got us going 7-1 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope you're right. Boy, I hope you're right. All right, man. Well,
I mean that the road game at Virginia, given how they're playing, of course, is sort of a pivotal win in that stretch. I think, as is this Miami game away. Those would probably be the two I would have the least confidence in of the wins. But I think we've got enough ammunition, even though Virginia's defense is incredible. I think we might have enough ammunition this year to.
What ammunition are you referring to? What ammunition? Harrison Ingram, Baycott, and RJ?
Yeah, and then I think we do have games where other people really step up.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. I want it to be there. I want it to be there. And I mean, I am a victim of my own Charlie Brown. I can kick the football, peppermint patty. Cormac Ryan is going to turn it around and go 4 for 6, 5 for 7, 3 of 4. Like, I keep waiting for that stretch where it starts clicking. And I'll give it to him. I've been hard on him. These misses, they're like back iron. They're right there. The problem with it is he's missing all of them. Usually you get a couple back irons, you make a small, tiny adjustment, and you're hitting bottoms, and it hasn't happened. Anyone watching this, I get 2 or 3 messages from the same people when I say negative things about the team, and I totally understand that. And when you do this, you open yourself up to that. But I would be lying if I didn't come on here with how hard that I've worked at certain things in my life to understand and have an appreciation for making shots. If I said it was okay or acceptable to miss some of those shots, like, it's just not. If you want to win, you know what I mean? Like, of course it's acceptable. Like, you go out there, he wants to make them. I know he does, but I can't come on here and be like, well, it's fine. Like, oh yeah, we'll win with that. We'll win a national championship with Cormac Ryan, our starting 2 guard, or our starting 3-man, shooting 28% from 3. We're just not going to do it. That'll make him a bad kid. I'm sure he's an incredible kid. I wish I was friends with the guy. Like, I'm happy for him. I wish I could have been a player that played at Carolina. But, like, you just can't have 1 of 10 and 0 for 6 and win games that matter down the stretch, especially down the stretch. So, it is what it is. Here's not. I was waiting to break this out. Got this today. My He's Not Here cup. Been looking for this hat for 30 years. Got it. Wore it tonight. Doesn't matter. Loss.
It is amazing how much it impacts your mood. I know it shouldn't.
I'm such a loser.
I know
I'm
it
such
shouldn't.
a loser.
I know it should. I know there's more important things in the world, but man,
I'm such a loser.
It's so night and day. I mean, you have the euphoria of beating Duke, and then you just get the kick in the face of tonight. So,
also, anyone watching this is like, man, look how upset this guy is. What a loser. You're right.
No, you are correct. They're all equally as upset as you are.
You are correct. I know it. I'm going to lay down tonight. I've already told people I was supposed to have some phone calls later. I was like, I can't do it. Don't want nothing. I was like, I'm going to talk to my brother-in-law. I'm going to rant. I'm probably going to cost us some subscribers. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, all of those things. They're unsubscribe. This guy's too negative. I know it. But I'm frustrated. It's tough.
Well, it's important to get it off your chest. So is there anything else you want to say?
That's it. Also, okay, and as before we leave, because misery loves company, I'm gonna bring you right on into the boat. Do you feel that I've been unfair tonight in my appraisal of the game?
No.
Be honest.
No.
Okay.
It's obvious to anyone who watched.
All right.
It's obvious to anyone who watched. I mean, it's clear. What isn't clear is whether or not it will change. At this point, it's got to be mental. he's been too good of a shooter for too long, and so hopefully whatever that is,
it's 100% mental. Yeah. He's a proven shooter. This is my thing. He's a proven shooter. This is why I don't understand it. Like I'll be the first person to say, you go into a gym with Cormac Ryan, he outshoots 99% of the country, I think, in practice. But I'm not going to give any names, but I played with a guy in college one time, and then we're going to cut this short. I remember in preseason workouts being blown away by this kid. Like, couldn't guard him off the bounce, made every open three. Just his pickup team won almost every preseason pickup game. He was cooking folks. Didn't matter what you did, strong, physical. Man, you turn the lights on, that guy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. It was just like a different player. You put some crowd in there, you get a guy closing out, there's refs, whistles, cheerleaders, bands playing. I don't think that guy saw the floor after the first 5 games of the season. And, that's just how it is. Now, I don't think Cormac Ryan's like that, but there's a disconnect going on where I bet he's lights out in practice. I bet he doesn't miss. I bet he cooks people in pickup, kick out. That's a bucket, but it's just not translating right now. And after the last couple of years, I know we had a championship run. After the last couple of years with people talking about our program and, especially with Hubert, is Hubert the guy? Man, I think Hubert's doing an incredible job this year, and I'm with you. I don't think it's coaching. We're getting good looks. Like, Hubert can't make the shot for him. And I would be the first person to say, hey, why aren't we running more sets, or why aren't we doing this? I think Hubert's doing a great job. I think he's doing an amazing job. I just want the guys to knock down shots I know that they're proven to make, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, every coach looks better when the shots go in. And I think Hubert is doing a good job. And, the Georgia Tech game was there to be won. And we just shot really, really poorly that game for the free throw line and open looks. We shot poorly again tonight. And again, I don't think that's a Hubert problem.
No,
Hubert's convinced me this year that he can really coach and get the team prepared.
Agreed. I love him now. I'm all on board. I think he's done enough to say, hey, look, if I'm the guy.
If you need a pick me up, I recommend
if I need a pick me up.
If you haven't already done it, I recommend watching some of the highlight videos of Ian Jackson and Drake Powell and who's the big guy coming in? James Brown.
Yeah, James Brown.
Yeah. I think it might make you feel a little bit better watching some of those. And I know they're high school highlight videos and all that stuff, but James Brown in particular, who I know is by far the lowest rated of the 3, I was really impressed watching some of his video. I mean, he was driving left, driving right, finishing with both hands. Actually has a nice 3-point shot. I think he can be a contributor. And then the other 2 guys are going to be special. And I think Cadeau, you were mentioning Cadeau earlier. Cadeau is going to be special. If you look at the history of point guards that class up, hardly any of them do well. And it's just really, really hard, I think, to class up. Even guys like Isaiah Collier, who was supposed to be all world on the #1 overall NBA draft pick before he got hurt, I think was struggling out at USC. I think it's just really, really hard to make that jump. And I think for the most part, he's done it very well. Clearly over the summer, he'll work on the jump shot. I think that's going to come. The free throw shooting actually is much improved already, I think, which is great to see. And so I just think Hubert knows what he's looking for in a player. And I think, when he gets those guys in and sort of builds around those type of guys, I like what he's doing in terms of the makeup of the team. And so in the long view, I'm very optimistic about the program. And even this year, I'm still very optimistic about what this team can do.
Okay.
But yeah, right. So watch some of those videos. Get excited. There's some studs coming down.
All right, last question, and then we're gonna call it a wrap. And I'm gonna think about cracking that bottle of tequila or just shutting it down.
Don't do it.
Gear it down into second gear here. I'm a little concerned that now we're going on 2 games of RJ not looking like the normal RJ. Do you think it's a trend? Do you think he's just been off? Do you think it's been scout? Do you think it's a lot more what opponents are doing? Or do you feel like it's an anomaly? It's, it's 1 week. Guy had a bad week. All good. Because the thing about the Duke game was we won without RJ being RJ. Awesome, amazing. Silver lining, great. We lose tonight. RJ's not RJ. And are you concerned about it?
Not too much. I mean, in the grant of the other things I'm concerned about, that's pretty low on the list.
All right, cool.
I think it's very, very difficult to play at the standard he's been playing at consistently, and so not every game's going to be that. I also think tonight, honestly, some of the other players' poor performance impacted him. I think he clearly was pushing some things tonight and forcing some things that maybe in some other games when other people were carrying more of the load, he wouldn't have had to.
Okay.
But I think it emphasizes the fact that we can't rely on that, and we need the other guys to play better, because you just no one's going to play at that standard for every game.
Yeah. All right. Well, go Heels. I appreciate you talking me off the ledge. I'm going to downshift. Go grab a soda. I'm going to actually go back and rewatch the game.
No.
Don't just let it go. I wish I could. I'm going to rewatch it, but
you're a glutton, man.
I just don't know. I just don't get it. It didn't make any sense to me.
He's not going to make the shots the second time. You know that, right?
That's true. All right. Go Heels.
Go Heels.
I'll see you Saturday, or I'll see you Sunday, I think.
Sounds good.